What's up, y'all? It's me, Tasha C, and welcome to the Tasha C Show podcast. A shout out to my podcast fam who've been listening and or watching my videos. Hugs and loves. And also hugs and loves for people in advance. Now, if you're part of my YouTube fam, or you're about to be part, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, click on the bell, for all notifications, But also let y'all know, if you're wondering about this podcast, you should be able to look in the description and see Speaker and other podcast platforms where I have my podcast. Vice versa, my podcast fam, or you started listening, you liking what you hear, you go ahead and follow me, part of my podcast fam, wherever you're listening at. And also, if you're wondering about this YouTube channel, go in YouTube search and type in Tasha C TV. Again, Tasha C TV. And to let y'all know, since I'm using this lovely speaker app to record these podcasts, you may hear maybe a click, noise in the background, or in most cases, in a rare occasion, maybe a ring, a text, or a landline phone with the call ID in the background talking. That's rare, but it can happen. So anyway, also let y'all know, if y'all new here, this is a part I've been making these particular podcasts, because I usually do podcasts I've been doing for a while, where it's got to do everything from entertainment, just random, it can be anything, story time, entertainment, and so forth, from even one time I was talking about even cartoons and books. This one particularly, I'm trying to see how long I'm going to have it, if I can possibly have it about, for several months or so, or even a year, or even past that. That's great. So I decided to originally do this for Black History Month, but Black History is every day. You know what I mean? And so I want to be able to go ahead and see if I can continue on just listing, different, Black history facts. And like I said, I have this as a part of my bonus podcast, which is part of, like I said, my video journey, 365 days journey that I decided to do. Originally is a part of my YouTube channel as well. So I decided to just make a 1 year thing when I make a video consistently every day, and that's it. And it can be either or, podcast, whatever. It's not like no set rules. It's just something to have me still connect and get used to sliding into the podcast world as a podcaster as well. So anyways, y'all, let's see where we go from here. Today, y'all, before I begin the Black History, I wanted people to put in your prayers, bring positive energy and light. If y'all heard of the legendary Melissa Ford, legendary as far as, and I'm not talking about, her being Coco, a former video vixen. She does two radio shows, podcast shows, which is Hollywood Unlocked. She co-stars with Jason Lee, and I know it's a different person on there. I haven't watched in a while, I'm being honest with y'all. And I'm here with The Food with Blue as also a co-host, which also y'all should check out as well. One of the, I admit, I want to also still do possibly a view or recap of the particular podcast we're talking about, the issues such as sex trafficking. With Jayla, also, like I said, that's one of my she rolls as well in real life, who used to be on YouTube as well and does work as far as helping others and so forth, about the issue of sex trafficking and also being a former sex trafficker survivor. So she, like I said, she has her own podcast as well. And she was also on, Life Before Heels. It was really a 2-season show that had, Heels or something like that, or Heels or something like that. A short-lived show. And she's also a speed reader and so forth and everything. And she was also a survivor of a horrendous car accident. Now, recently, today, on her Instagram page, and I think the Jasmine brand, she's venting about, her mother she was saying it while her mother is dealing with stage 4 cancer. And she's just, very, like I said, very sad and so, because her mother had to have emergency surgery, I think, today. So, please keep y'all in prayers, energy for her and her family. And just name her, even if you're, just want to get positivity and just, a positive affirmation manifest that, her mother will be okay and she'll be okay during this this stressful, and sad, thing that's going on. So I wanted to, like I said, talk about that um, before I get into some Black history facts. I mean, she's a part of Black of history as well, but it's just I wanted to really discuss, like, prayers for her and her, and for her mom and her family. Okay, now of course, I sometimes use both, um, like I said, the Instagram and or websites or just other facts. Really, I wanted to say real quick is, let's see here. Okay. I wanted to go to Instagram and talk about this. I should go back to, I don't know what I'm going to do today. Maybe a couple book facts. Oh, just to let y'all know before we begin. Now, if y'all, hear about Neo Soul, or you would say R&B and so forth. Now, actually, her name is Algebra, is the name she went by. On the top of my head, two hits that I know is also Love Notes Inc. And I think that's like her lipstick line and so forth, so check her out as well. But her album, she had to do, like I said, I loved her voice, and one of the favorite songs I liked her, because I actually discovered her from Pandora's days, and y'all like, what the heck was that? That's before Spotify came in, y'all. That's Pandora. Okay. Pandora is, is what Spotify is now today. That's where I think about when I think about Pandora. And so that's why I heard about her music as far as a suggestion. And one of my favorite songs from her has No Idea. And also it's a song with another soul singer, Anthony Davidson. And she was featured in a song called Forevermore Love Song. So this is where she has on this is her business Instagram. But her name's Algebra Blessed. Okay. And, like I said, if y'all like also heard about like people like still to say like Eric Robinson, soul singers and stuff. I think also she may be a songwriter as well. Bibi Green and so forth. So like I said, February 26th, she says 2008, I released my first studio album, Purpose. The journey and stories of the relationship, an entire roller coaster ride that this album embodies will forever be part of my legacy and would never take it for granted. Should I write several books? Yes, actually, you should. I liked that album. I mean, like, she's very talented. She's kind of like, one of the newest artists I feel like that got slept on. Also, have you heard of, what's her name? Cyberspace? I don't know why I keep getting her name wrong, but I'm actually following her. Like, also, like, Kanya Doss. I hope I'm getting her name correctly. And, oh my gosh. But, yes, y'all, check that out. Check her material as well. So, anyways, here I'm also on Instagram. We are Push Black, and here they say the feds don't want you to know the powerful story of one of the most dangerous black women in American history. Sweep to read more. Okay, all right. Now it says here, and then I'm going to swipe. You got to swipe left, as like I said. Shout out to I do not want to mess up James Caldwell's name of his character, because that's the name of one of his series with topics is Swipe Left, okay? But okay, why did the FBI hit the story of the most dangerous black woman ever? Swipe to read. Lucy Parsons, born into slavery, 1853, made it her life's mission to fight for the poor and disfranchised. Her work started in Texas, but she was forced to flee to Chicago. The police shot her husband, threatening to lynch him for registering black voters. See, y'all, and to let y'all know before I continue, if wherever state that you're at, if y'all in the States, United States, so forth, Google in the States to see if you can, register. I don't know, you should be able to, like, sit and load to register if you're not already registered. And look at the qualification, because, I wish, like how to have, like, certain people can't vote and so forth, whatever. But if you can, please go out and vote and look to see if your state has an absentees vote, okay? Because I found Michigan passed here last year, so I was going to do that anyway due to the fact, like I said, for health reasons and stuff like that, because I went out and I have been voting, and I recently just got registered for absentee voting, and that's for anybody that can, as long as they write into the right address and you're able to register and find the city clerk or wherever you're located. So say for example, y'all, whatever state, voting registration thing, they should have a search site to show if you are registered and if you have your name and I think your birth date or something in the site they can correct you with. Something that probably has .org or .gov, .gov. You should be able to go there and see if you're already, say, registered, to see where will your registration place be and where will the city clerk list say you were right. Say if they do have absentee voting or where you're able to vote, 18 and above, 18 and older, then please go ahead and vote. Okay? Just like I said about y'all, if y'all can read or if you don't feel like reading the audiobook, please do so. People died for this, okay? Died for us. Okay, let me continue. I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all know I'll be just running when it comes to that. Okay, let me go to the next slide. After a workers' protest in 1886, a local newspaper encouraged people to poison homeless beggars or tramps, in quotes. Parson responded by writing, said, "Let every dirty, lousy tramp arm himself with a revolver or knife and laid in wait on the steps of the palaces of the rich." Her words resonated with the masses of oppressed workers. Parsons' active resistance to the system prompted law enforcement to say she was the most dangerous than 1,000 rioters. Ain't that about it? Okay, anyway. The FBI even forbid her from speaking in public. And, some people say words ain't powerful. Huh? Anyway, next slide. When she died mysteriously, I'm putting quotation like mysteriously, in 1942, federal agents raided her home. They stole 40 years' worth of writing on anarchy and socialism. To this day, these works have remained hidden from the public. Ain't that about a bitch? Oh, stolen history. Yes, it's just messed up. Okay, Judge Greg Memphis page. He has like a small quote again. Sometimes he has it for the Black History Month. And he says more than 12 million African slaves were shipped across the world during the transatlantic slave trade. Only 10.7 million of those slaves lived through the treacherous Middle Passage. Oh. Oh, okay. Also, this is from Bottles Alert. It's just suggesting, it's going to cut off because unless I go to the webpage to finish on to reading this, but I wanted to point out an example about Robin Thede wants people to stop waiting until it's Black History Month to appreciate Black people, suggesting turning Black History Month into a Black History Year. Okay. Barbara, okay, this is beginning. Okay, that was still repeating the same thing. Okay, a black lady, the black, it's actually saying a black lady sketch show star penned a guest column for Variety this week, urging Black people to celebrate themselves all year long and for non-Black people to give us our flowers, not only in the month of February. Black History Month is both a time of grand celebration, a time when people who haven't done enough to help further the case of Black people are reminded for 28 to 29 days come through leap year of how they contribute to systematic oppression. But don't freak out. It shouldn't have to carry that level of tense, more month-long burden, Theda writes. The comedian also is laughing but seriously calls out the blatant pandering media, companies, and businesses do to win over the Black community during the month. Instead, let's celebrate Black people every day of the year, and then the more burden is spread out across 365 days, and it wouldn't feel so heavy. Imagine if you could search that Martin Luther King quote in August, as opposed to trying to find an obscure one in February because all the good ones are already taken. Doesn't that already sound better and more relaxing? Imagine hiring a Black person in your office in June when business is slower and the weather is nice, Theda writes. She continues, you have so much time to do it then, instead of the cold and busy February. Imagine asking your Black friends how to do cornrows in October instead of February when you know we're backed up with our free help our white friend with an adopted black child braiding classes. Okay. Lastly, he mentions that what she is saying may not necessarily apply to the person reading, and the rest logging and blah blah blah. So what y'all say, if y'all are listening to this, what would you think about it? And that's, like I said, I wanted to continue reading about, this series. Originally I was trying to squeeze everything in, because like just what the article I read about our Lucy Parton's just earlier, about we hear some of the stories, or we hear history, or some of it is stolen, or we don't know everything. But is there enough to create a, like to sell? I mean, it's enough to create, but it's enough documentary that we know that we can celebrate. That I could say even do a podcast, for example. But I'm gonna do my best. I'm not gonna say try. I'm gonna do my best. Okay. So, because like I said, I was trying to squeeze in all this stuff, and when I realized this, it's so many gems that I can go on and on and on, and I'm not just going to put a specific date on it. I'm going to do the best I can. Some things will be repetitive and or more information, but hey, y'all, it's a part of history, and I want to be able to continue to talk about things past or present to current time, from books to art to movies to just information. And even if it's some of the sad stuff, the reality is that's a part of history. You know what I mean? Or our story, her story, I'm sorry I'm going to tangent, y'all, but, and I mean, it did help that I had my nephew to bring up the idea of even making suggestions how to do that. I'm still tickled, and that shows how the children are our future. I mean, that's sort of a great idea. So, anyways, this is the Melian Shades Room. I found that suggestion when I think like after history, eventually, like, when you like sometimes follow folks on these social media sites, and then they make more suggestions pop up. So I actually watched a video on this, but I don't think I read about this out loud. If not, here we go. We got some more Jim about this person in our history. The richest man in history is an African king, Mansa Musa from Mali. He was worth over 400 billion. Read full story. Okay, that's what we're gonna do. Historians estimate that Mansa Musa in modern currency was worth around 400 billion. That is more than twice as wealthy as Amazon's Jeff Bezos, the richest person alive today. Most of Mansa's wealth came from gold and salt. Mansa Musa was a devout Muslim and observed one of the 5 pillars of Islam by undertaking a pilgrimage to Mecca, known as Hajj. When he embarked on his Hajj in 1324, he traveled thousands of miles across treacherous terrain with 600,000 people, 21,000 kilograms of gold, and 100 elephants and 80 camels. During his pilgrimage to Mecca, Mansa Musa gave away such a significant amount of gold that the economy of Cairo was effective for years afterward. After. Historian Alimur said he flooded Cairo with his kindness. Mansa Musa developed Timbuktu into a place of intellectual debate in the 1300s, building hundreds of schools, libraries, and mosques. It's just... okay, yep, just dope. Okay, this was the other day, but there was some more information. We pushed black again, and this just gives a little more general information when I talked about yesterday, because this is volume 26 today. Sorry, y'all, I just got a notification. We have, like, a snowstorm, but it's like the snow stopped and came on, so a lot of schools were closed today. They're all throughout Michigan, during there, and then they just had a notification click. I know that's so random, but okay. Okay, now we're back when we are push black. Do you know what famous black leader Ali celebrated his win during that evening? And this is for January 25th, which I said yesterday. Hint: just one day after the fight, Ali would announce his joining the Asian Islam. Okay, let's look at the thing. February 25th, 1964, on this day in 1964, 22-year-old Muhammad Ali, then known as Cassius Clay, landed an historic win against Sonny Liston, becoming the world's heavyweight champion for the first of what will later become the 3 landmark wins. A 7-1 underdog named the Louisville Lip Ali predicted the victory, famous stating that he would float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, and knock out Linson in the 8th round. This, oh. Oh, okay. Um, just real quick. Okay, yeah, I already had talked about this with Niecy Naz. I didn't follow. Okay, well, Thomas, do I have? Okay, let me go to the last. This is a different website that I found. Just give me a second, because I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I got extra tabs that I actually had found. It's not the same one I know, that I was reading about before. I still have that up, which I'll go up to, but I wanted to go because it was a site that talked about banned books as well. Because when I went to other sites, it was probably mostly the same 10 books, but one, kind of included 2 books in their 50 banned books, and they, they talked about them. So I wanted to read them real quick, and then I'll have this list out the way. But it's amazing, like, how some of the books, yeah, they talked about, Beloved as well. There's a couple of them I wanted to talk about. One that, even though it's not an African American book, is interesting, so let me just go ahead real quick. Beloved by Toni Morrison, the Pulitzer Prize women novel. Love is a heartbreaking story of slavery, racism in the 19th century America. It has been challenged by numerous school boards and parents groups in the U.S. because of the graphic violence and sexual references. Key quote, all the time I'm afraid of the thing that happened that made it all right for my mother to kill my sister could happen again. I don't know what it is. I don't know who it is. But maybe there is something else terrible enough to make her do it again. So I guess they're taking the key quotes from the literature. Black Beauty by Anna Swell. This is interesting, the reason. Okay. This such a story of a horseless adventure in 19th century England was banned by South Africa's apartheid remedy at one point simply because it had the words black and beauty in the title. Key quote, my troubles are all over, and I am at home, and often before I am quite awake. I fancy I am still in the orchard at Bitchwick, standing with my friends under the apple trees. Sorry, y'all, I forgot that book. Even though it's, like I said, it's not, say, an African book, a black book or anything. It was interesting that they banned the book because of Black and Beauty being the title. So give me a second. I'm just going down, strolling down, because the other 2 books are kind of towards the end that I wanted to talk about that were different. Okay, let's see. That's Lord of the Flies. Okay. Now, put off my daughter. Sorry, I'm just purposely saying stuff out loud so y'all don't think like I just, like, vanished or anything. It's interesting that they don't have, like, any numbers on it, so, as far as the title thing. Okay. Now, actually, I talked about this again, but, I think I already talked about it, or will talk about it. Okay, The Color Purple by Alice Walker. This 1982 Pulitzer Prize-winning novel focuses on the grim realities of life for black women living in America's Deep South in the 1930s. It has been banned by school boards on numerous occasions for graphic scenes of violence, description of sexual assault, and plus troubling ideas about race relations, man relationship to God, African history, and human sexuality. Key quote, I see Sophia and I don't know why she's still alive. They crack her skull, they crack her ribs, they tear her nose loose from one side, they blind her on one eye. She swole from head to foot. Okay, Da Vinci Code, I'm still going down. Oh, Handmaid's Tale. Okay. The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. Okay. Alright, I'm just making sure. Oh, well, this might be a little longer than I should be usually. Thomas' novel is inspired by the Black Lives Matter movement and tells the story of Star, a 16-year-old who witnesses the fatal shooting of her friend by police. School officials in Catholic, Texas banned the book in 2017 for inappropriate language. Although the petition started by a teenager saw the book is reinstated in schools, judges still have to get parental permission to check it out. Key quote, "What's the point of having a voice if you're going to be silent in the moments you shouldn't be?" And actually, they made a film. I honestly have not read the book, even though I plan on reading the book, and also seeing the movie. When I was doing an internship at the Boys and Girls Club, I wasn't there at that time when they did that at that time, because this is on and off the times I did volunteer and or did internship there, and they did the play, The Hate You Give as well. But that's interesting. I think that's okay. Okay. Could have sworn they had one more book. If not, y'all, like I said, it's just interesting about. Okay, well, To Kill a Mockingbird does have to do with African Americans, so let's add this in. To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. Set in Alabama in the 1930s, Harper Lee's classic novel tells the story of a white lawyer defending a black man accused of rape. It has been subject to many challenges and temporary bans in the U.S. on charges of racism and the accusation it represents institutionalized racism over the guise of good literature. She was white. This is key code. She was white, and she tempted a Negro. She did something that our society is in our society is unspeakable. She kissed a black man, not an old uncle, but a strong young Negro man. Okay, think this other book, Uncle Tom's Cabin by Harriet Beecher Stowe. Long regarded as one of the greatest anti-slavery novels ever written, Harriet Beecher Stowe tells slavery in the Deep South was greeted by outrage by many in 1852. A Southern novelist declared it utterly false, and Stowe received threatening letters, including one containing severe ear of a slave. What the hell? Even as the U.S. Civil War, after the U.S. Civil War and the abolishment of slavery, the book continued to be a challenge for its apparent racist portrayal of African Americans. Key quote: "We don't own your laws. We don't own your country. We stand here as free, under God's sky, as you are, and by the great God that made us. We fight for our liberty until we die. And that's the end of that, y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed this. I'm about to get off of here. So I will see y'all the next day, Friday. It's approaching. And y'all, heck, February. Well, Saturday is our last day of February, y'all. Well, it's leap day, but it's still February. But anyway, y'all, hugs and loves, God bless, and I will see y'all next time. Or y'all hear me next time, rather. Okay, y'all, God bless, hugs and love. Take care.